Do we believe that the society has a certain image of us that we have to kind of fit? Yeah. And that's why I asked this question this morning, is to see, are you going to fit into a role you think I want to hear, or are you going to give me a truth? The truth is, your favorite word's probably not shenanigans or, burger flickle or any kind of random word ever. It's whatever situation you're in that dictates a correct or, adequate response. What they call is a normal, rational human response. So, are you acting in kind to the environment that you're in? One of the most valuable traits a real estate agent can have is the ability to act in kind, right? Chameleon. If you're dealing with people that are highly intense, you might want to be a little bit more intense. If you're working in an environment of people that are a lot more laid back, then maybe that's where you need to spend some energy. But who we are at the core doesn't have to change. You can have different flavors with the same base cake. So remember that. Don't be afraid to adapt to these surroundings, because you got to get along to get along. Because sometimes if you stand out too much, you don't get picked. All right, what are your wins from yesterday? Yesterday wins. Wednesday wins.
Had a buyer go under contract yesterday.
Yes, you did, sir. I'm excited for you.
Yes, I did.
What else you got?
After reading the MRA, I became so much more aware of how important a business model is, and I restructured my business model.
There you go. Great job, G. So let me ask you, what challenged you to read the MREA?
My progress in my real estate career.
Just wasn't happy with where you were at?
Nope.
I love that, man. Not happy with where you're at? Change it. Do something different. I love it. All right, we got time for one more win. Let's hear it.
I attended an RPR training that was just random, they give for free. And I really learned a lot from it, that I thought I knew pretty much how to handle all that, but there were so many things on it that I didn't even realize. So it was very informative.
That's awesome. And who provided that course for you?
MLS did.
The MLS did?
Awesome. They just advertised it. So they have another one coming up, I think today at 11. It's talking about going into it more.
For those agents up at KW Elite, it's a great opportunity for the MLS out there in Goodyear. For your local MLS, they provide a ton of classes on the tools and resources that they provide. Now, I don't know about you, but if I want to learn how to train a dog, I'm going to go to a professional dog trainer. I'm not going to go to my neighbor that says, hey, I've trained a dog once or twice in my life. The MLS is a tool designed by the MLS, so why not let them teach you on it? RPR, MLS, stats, all of those engines within their tool have far more capability than we're using. So maybe put that on your action plan or growth plan to spend a little bit of time at the MLS or at one of their classes once a month or once a quarter, so you can learn a little bit more about the tools and resources that you pay for. I want you to remember that you pay for, that we make some more money with it, right? Who likes to pay for stuff and not use it, right? Like that gym membership you signed up for in 2017, you just haven't canceled yet. Anybody? Nobody? No? Just me? Okay. So, all right. Well, it is 8:06. We got plenty of time for conversations, objections, situations. So, who wants to start us off? What conversations, topics, or objections do you want to work on this morning so that we can help fine-tune your abilities?
Like usual, Dan, I'll jump in. I love the awkward silences, but I can only do it so long. But I did want to share, we were talking about buyer brokers the other day, and I watched a couple training videos around buyer broker videos or buyer broker agreements, and I heard a really good script I wanted to share. Everybody talks about, it's the loyalty from me to you, fiduciary duty, et cetera, et cetera. But the one that really stuck out was, this is an agreement that I make to my clients, and I only have a limited amount of time, like you do, And this is the agreement that guarantees you a slot on my calendar when there's a home that pops up that interests you. Otherwise, I'm going to use that time to serve my other clients that have agreed to hire me as their exclusive agent, instead of opening doors for customers.
Every broker I've ever worked for says the buyer broker is a optional agreement because not everyone's going to use one. We've talked about the importance of a buyer broker. When do you submit a buyer broker, or when do you present a buyer broker?
It's going to be at your consultation.
Okay, at your consultation. Now, someone asked me the other day, can we talk about consultations? Can we talk about buyer consultations? And I was like, that's a great conversation. It's a second class all on its own. But when you do a buyer broker, that is the end of a consultation. That's the whole point of a consultation, is to set up a professional relationship between you and that client. Right? Anyone ever had surgery, like a major surgery? Did you just go to the doctor and they said, okay, we're going to put you on the table, let's go? Or what did they do first?
Examine you.
Yeah. They diagnose the situation. They talk. They figure it out. Do you not have a surgery consult?
Yes.
Where they come and tell you, hey, okay, we're going to take your gallbladder out. This is what's going to happen. And this is what's going to happen. And this is what's going to happen. And this is what's expected of you. 24 hours before surgery, no food, no water, right? After surgery, what's going to happen? They tell you everything. They prepare you for the journey before and after, as well as instructing you on your responsibilities, right? This is what I'm going to do as a surgeon. This is what you're going to do as a patient. Do you feel more comfortable going into a major operation after that consult? Right? They're going to tell you everything to expect. Man, it's going to suck. It's going to be a 6-month learning curve, or you're going to have to learn how to walk again. Yes, I know we're just taking out your wisdom teeth, but your legs aren't going to work. Okay. You're the doctor. I trust you. But now let's look into real estate, right? When we talk about real estate, are we not providing people life critical changes? You never thought about it like that, did you? So that we need to be having these life critical level types of conversations, which are consultations. Do you want to work with every client you come across? No. Sometimes, most of them, you don't want to. One of my favorite stories is my second listing appointment I ever went on was a dude's house that was decked out in every piece of Nazi paraphernalia you could have. I turned around and walked right out. I don't want to be associated to that. But you know what? The first time I ever met that guy and talked to that guy was in that moment. So now I like to have conversations before I ever go out to somebody's house. Especially when I'm working with a buyer. If I got a buyer that I'm going to spend X amount of hours with driving around and taking care of, one, I want to know that this is the type of person I wouldn't mind having in my vehicle. Two, I want to make sure that this type of person is the type of person that will actually do the things I need them to do so that we can have a successful transaction. And three, I want to make sure that I can actually help this person out. Because I may not be the right agent for them. If they're looking for some luxury ranch property that has an active farm and managed properties and all these things that maybe be out of my scope, am I doing them a disservice by still being the agent? Partner up with someone that's a little bit more experienced, or if they're looking for an industrial complex that has an on-site incinerator, right? These are things that we may not have intimate knowledge of, so let's bring in a professional that does and partner with them so that we can grow our knowledge. Consultations are not just to sit down and check a box. Yep, I had a consultation. They signed the buyer broker. They signed the buyer advisory. They signed all the advisory forms. Now we can go search a house. A really good buyer consultation will save you hours upon hours in the search. Do you believe me? If you've never done a buyer before, you're going to find out. What I can promise you is that buyers don't know what they're looking for. They just tell you what they think they want. So when you're doing a buyer consultation, we're going to ask critical conversations like, who's going to live in the house? What are you going to do with the place? What is your intention?
What's with the third bedroom? What's with the fourth bedroom? What are you going to do with this extra bathroom? What is it about that neighborhood that's so important to you? Tell me more about why you want to live in a neighborhood close to this person. I want to get to the bottom of everything so that I can have a very good understanding of the symptoms that I'm helping overcome. And in that, I'm going to bring up the buyer broker and say, well, it really seems like working together would be a win-win situation, Jim. Do you agree? Right. We've gone over a lot of information today about what to expect during the process of buying a home, what you expect of me as your agent, and what I would expect of you of my client. Now, I do have a very short list of clients that I work with because I put a lot of energy in helping my clients find a home. This is an agreement between you and I to identify that we're going to work together exclusively. And I'm going to put all of my resources into helping you find the house of your dreams. Now, at any point during the transaction, Jim, I am not doing what I'm supposed to be doing to help you. I hope you fire me. And Jim, I will do the same.
Amen to that one.
Would you like to work together? Sign right here.
We make it difficult. And I was sharing with some of my coaching clients that how many of us have ever taken a listing without an agreement? The answer is 0, right? So why do you even entertain taking a buyer without an agreement?
Do buyers give you gas money? Do buyers text you randomly on a Saturday at 7 o'clock at night when you're hanging out with your family saying, hey, I want to go look at this house right now? Do buyers all of a sudden change their mind and want to add another house to the tour of homes that's 45 minutes across town? You know what kind of buyers don't do that? Ones that you have worked. You have set boundaries and expectations with. Now, I'll ask some of my agents on the call that have done hundreds of buyers. Anthony, will you work without a consultation? You guys can see his head shake no. I don't even have to ask Amanda because I know her policy's very clear and cut. She takes care of it. But she also won't put up with bullshit like someone changing their mind 15 times.
That's a hell no.
Oh, that was an aggressive head shake. Not only will he not work with someone unrepresented, being a buyer broker, hell no. I'll tell you a story. I was 23, 24, showing houses around to a guy named Carlos. I showed him 18 houses one day. One day, 18 houses. I drove all over Tucson. I didn't have the gas money to put in my truck. I borrowed it. And by the end of the day, I was out of gas again. And then Carlos said, man, we're just going to wait. Had I sat down with Carlos and talked to him and had a professional conversation about his expectations, his timeline, right? Where's he want to go? What's his timeline? What's he looking for? I would have saved myself 8 hours of work and $100 worth of fuel. Some people just want to look at houses. Some people just want you to open up houses so they can go see how the other half lives. Do you think you can flush those people out in a consultation? Should you? We get hung up way too much on the power of a buyer broker, the importance of a buyer broker, getting them to sign a buyer broker. I don't feel good, comfortable signing a buyer broker. Am I showcasing to you that the buyer broker is only a part of the major consultation? The consultation is the important part. It's sitting down with them and having a serious discussion about what you're about to do. And it's not so much just sign this piece of paper. It says that we're working together and I'm your agent. No, it's me honoring an agreement between two professionals. As your professional realtor, I'm servicing you as the buyer. I am going to put my resources to work to help you find a house. And if the seller is not compensating me on the full value of what I get paid, the buyer will pay the difference. There's a reason there are some lawyers that get paid $50 an hour and some that get paid $1,500 an hour. They both went to law school. They both have a law degree. One probably has a lot more resources, knowledge, expertise, a network. If you feel like you don't have the value to ask for that $1,500 an hour or that 3% of the sales price, remember that you have some pretty high-powered realtors in your experience.
Cost is only an issue in the absence of value.
100%.
So if you're dealing with the cost, then it means that I haven't provided or shown you the value that I'm offering. In what ways do you feel like it'd be more valuable?
Remember that in the absence of value, the only thing you can negotiate is price. Your price, the house's price. So Jim put in the chat, you need to be a trusted advisor. An advisor is worth more than someone is just transactional. So it goes into fiduciary versus functionary. We've all been to a bank, right? The people behind the counter are functionaries. They're there to take your money, put it in the system, have a nice day. Can I get anything else for you? Here's a lollipop. The people at the desks are fiduciaries. What are you working on? What are you trying to do? Okay, this is my expertise. Here's my ideas. Here's my guidance. Here's what you should do. Zillow, functionary. You as a realtor, fiduciary. And for my superheroes fans out there, functionary, Batman. Fiduciary, Superman. Because he's got superpowers. Duh, Batman's just rich. Even though Batman killed Superman. That was just a weird way of ending that movie. It really was. Very was. So, one of my challenges for you is to sit down and have a buyer consultation practice with your coach, with a senior member of your coaching program, with your family members, with anybody. And get comfortable asking serious questions like, what's important about that? Why does this matter to you? What are you going to do with this? Who's going to live there with you? Who's also a decision maker? One thing we often don't think about is who is giving you information. Because maybe it's husband and wife that are making a deal, but it's the dad that's providing all this input. And you're never going to talk to the dad because he lives in New York and he knows way better about real estate than you do because he's 70 years old. That's his only claim to fame. When you ask these type of questions, who else is involved in this decision making? Most of the time you get, oh, it's just my wife or my husband or my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my partner. Okay, great. Where else are you getting guidance from? Who else is talking in your ear about this process?
Is this where the practice of doing open-ended questions comes in?
Absolutely. We talk open-ended questions, not just for objection handling, but it also allows you to dive deeper in personal conversations to get more relative information. If you're asking yes or no, check off a box questions, are you going to get very deep in a conversation? Go watch a regional police interrogation versus an FBI interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
The FBI asks a lot of open-ended questions, a lot of trick questions, not because they want the answer, they just want to see how you answer. A regional cop is, where were you at this day? Were you with this person? Do you know who this person is? Are you guilty? Yes or no based questions, single answer questions, interrogation questions, where the FBI is like, hey man, we're all good. Tell me, how was Saturday? What'd you do? Great. Why'd you go there? What was it about that restaurant that was important to you? Man, I noticed you don't live on that side of town. What brought you over there? Right? Inference-based questions that help uncover more information, not just check off a box that says, well, yep, I validated what I already knew.
But besides practicing that here with you and everybody that's on here, do you have other references like books, maybe videos that we can refer to? Because I feel like that is a weak point of mine, is asking open-ended questions, and I feel like I need to practice that more or learn about the concepts. Or
a great book, better at QBQ. It's a small little read. It's called QBQ. It's the question behind the question. That's more so understanding why people are asking questions. A great book is Great Leaders Ask Great Questions. There's YouTube video upon YouTube video out there. I have an entire channel full of our videos over the last couple of years of our videos I've posted up there of questions we've asked. Denny Grimes teaches a question-based conversational trainings every Friday, I believe 1 o'clock Arizona time or 11 o'clock Arizona time. There are countless resources out there that'll help you. One of the best resources available is pick a situation and write 10 open-ended questions about it, right? Let's do this exercise right now. You've got a buyer sitting in front of you. And we're just sitting down for a consultation. What questions do you ask? Who wants to go first?
It's a buyer.
Yeah, you're sitting down with a buyer consultation. You're asking some open-ended questions. What questions do you go with? So, and if,
Why do you want to buy a house?
okay, why do you want to buy a house? What was that, Mara?
Similar. What's prompting you to want to move?
Okay. What's the motivation, right? Come on, let's go.
When are you trying to move by? What time do you want to
Frame. Time.
Yeah, timeline.
Okay.
Are you working with another agent?
That's an open, it's not open-ended.
Oh.
Foul, strike one. It's okay, Audra.
Question, but rephrase it.
Rephrase the question, open-ended. Other than
Have you
are
been looking
working
for
with someone?
homes? Oh.
Let's go to Audra. Other than are you working with someone, how can you change that to an open-ended question?
How important? Oh, sorry.
Hold on, let Audra do this. It's an exercise for her.
Sorry.
You're muted, friend. Audra.
Okay. Which agents have you been working with?
That's a better one, right? Who are you working with? Who's giving you information? Who's providing you knowledge? Right?
Do you know the benefits of working with an agent?
Open-ended.
Yeah.
You said
a good one to kind of flush that out without mentioning other agents, because maybe they don't know they should be working with other agents, is how long have you been looking and have you submitted any offers lately?
Mm-hmm.
And if they say yes, okay, what agent were you working with when you submitted those offers? And then have you signed anything committing yourself to that agent?
Okay.
Which is a yes or no question, but I used a couple open-ended ones to get there.
Yeah, you navigate. It's okay. You can sprinkle, but I just don't want the whole cake made out of closed-ended questions. So far, we have what's, why's, when, and how. What's missing?
Where do you want to go?
Okay.
Location.
Where? So it's a location. And most importantly, who? Open-ended questions typically start with one of those 6 things. What, where, when, why, and how. Because it provides a response. Sometimes the response is short, sometimes it's long, but then you can sprinkle in a two-letter word. Tell me more. For those of you trying to do the math, that's 3 words, it's not a letter. So it's a sentence. Tell me more. So some of the most powerful questions you'll ever ask aren't full sentences. It's just an inference like, and? Or, so? Just doing the, But notice how we went right through a list and we already got a ton of questions. What's important to you about that? What's the motivation? Why are you wanting to buy a house? When are you thinking about the move? How long have you been looking and who have you been working for? Where do you want to go? Who's in this decision making for you?
Get them to tell you a story.
Go ahead, Amanda, sorry.
I was saying, get them to tell you a story. What would their ideal situation look like if they could describe it to you without limitations? So, tell me what your ideal situation would look like if there weren't any limitations on that. Cost aside, timelines aside, what would your ideal situation look like? Believe it or not, they'll answer almost all of your questions just by telling you what they actually want.
For my country fans out there, and if you don't know this song, go Google it. Paint Me a Birmingham.
Yeah.
And they
you'll
will.
see their minds start going, and they'll start telling you why. They'll talk about their reasons why. They'll talk about the time of year. They'll talk about what they want to do, who they would have at their backyard barbecue with them, why they need the extra bedroom, why they need the 3-car garage, or why they envision having this 3-car garage or a low maintenance backyard, maybe because their ideal situation is that they want to lock and leave home so they can travel all the time. You'll start to hear all the details in the why, and then that helps you paint a better picture for them through the houses that you're able to present to them if you just sit back and listen.
Remember this, guys, and this is where we can end off. Amanda's got a great point here. Remember, facts tell. Facts tell, stories sell.
Mm-hmm.
Facts tell, stories sell. Get people talking. That's what the whole point of an open-ended question is, to get them talking so they can tell you a story. And you can keep stories going by saying, and what else? Tell me more. And that's why these are the most impactful questions.
Can you imagine how wonderful that would be? That's a great one.
Could you imagine how awesome that's going to be?
Mm-hmm.
And then what are you going to do next? Who's the first person you're going to tell?
Right. It's excitement and connection.
Yeah, excitement and putting in what they call the ether. We all know the ether because we've all bought something really expensive. It was really exciting. We're like, oh, yay. Put them in the ether and people will do crazy things. So I got another call to jump on, my friends. Thank you for being a part of my morning. Happy Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, big high five.